Welcome back to Right Path to Retirement, the podcast where we help you navigate so many issues within your retirement. And there's so many to get to. We could probably spend all day right here. I'm with financial advisor Jimmy Lin, and I'm your co-host, Doug Turnbull. And I'm based in Atlanta, Georgia. Jimmy is out in Las Vegas, as you've heard a lot about in past episodes. And Jimmy, before we dive into our topic of the day, which is annuities, and believe me, I'm just starting to learn a lot about these, so I'm glad you're going to guide us through that. But you've got to believe that Jimmy Lin is a patient guy, everybody, all right? Because he has twins that have just started the freshman year of high school. So, Jimmy, I don't know how you even have time to do a job if you have twin freshmen there. What has fatherhood been like for now high schoolers?
Well, I think I do my job better now because I try to go to the office more often so that I'm not involved in all the drama of high school. Ideally, I let my wife handle a lot of that, but it's interesting. It's great to watch your kids grow and kind of become real human beings and function in society. And obviously, they're starting to transition in adulthood. But yeah, it's tough. What's tough for me right now that I'm dealing with, if we want to get personal here, is homecoming's right around the corner, and my daughter was asked to go to a homecoming date. And so I'm having a little trouble wrapping my mind around that because it came out of left field a little bit. Supposedly they're going as friends.
She's not been on dates and boyfriends.
No, yeah, it's kind of been something that they're really not supposed to be doing right now. But I'm trying to be, work within. I'm trying to be flexible, right? So, but yeah, that's what I'm dealing with now. So to be quite honest with you, going to the office and meeting with clients, that's almost like that's my sanctuary right now because I cannot mentally handle the challenges that are coming up with these teenage years.
If it makes you feel better, I'm just a little bit younger than you, Jimmy, but I certainly respect the tension you have right there. I completely surprised my parents in 7th grade by telling them I had a girlfriend. I just said, "Hey, what's up?" I didn't ask permission. I was like, "Hey, so-and-so and I are going out now." So yeah, they were not ready for that one. But that means, y'all, you can help Jimmy achieve Zen and achieve your retirement Zen by going to rightpathtoretirement.com and scheduling a complimentary consultation with him and get on his calendar. He'd love to dig through whatever it is you have questions about. And it's not going to be just one question, and help gear up a retirement strategy just for you because everybody's a little bit different. He does seminars and live events. He and his team do. Again, rightpathtoretirement.com. Last episode, we talked about the need for a tax advisor in planning retirement. Now we take a snail trail, if you will, go just a little bit down a trail, if you will, to a specific strategy that people have. And that's a way to try to both guard money, but also gain on it a little bit, and that's annuities, correct? So today we're going to do just a little primer on annuities, Jimmy, and let's tackle that, the different kinds of annuities and the way people approach those. So what is an annuity starting out?
Yeah, I think that's an important question, Doug, because annuities have gotten a bad rap for decades, probably for good reason, right? Annuities started out as an insurance contract where, you may give $500,000 to an insurance carrier, and they will promise you a lifetime income stream. But what people often had a problem with was that if they gave that money to that carrier and they got hit by a truck a week later, well, they basically lost that bet, and that money gets kept by the carrier, and the beneficiaries don't get any of that. So that's kind of the starting point for a lot of people as far as their knowledge of annuities. But since then, and definitely in recent years, annuities has actually been redesigned, and they play an important role in an overall retirement. Like we talked in our last episode about tax location as far as putting your money in different taxable buckets. Well, we also create buckets for your income stream, and we like to look at it as almost like a growth bucket and a protected bucket. And the way we look at that is your growth bucket of money could be invested in the market for long-term growth, and we need that because we got to keep up with inflation. But your protected bucket of money is really insulated from a lot of the market volatility. And a tool that we like to use in that protected bucket are annuities. Now, all annuities aren't created equal. And you really, to me, it's just a tool, right? Like if you're a plumber, you're not going to go in with a hammer. You might go in with a wrench, right? So you got to know what job you're trying to achieve and then use the right tool. And so an annuity is just a tool in our tool belt. But when you look at the various types of annuities, they basically solve a problem, right? People are going to have a problem. Now, some people have an income problem. They don't have enough income coming in from their Social Security. They don't have a pension, but they happen to have a bucket of money that they saved in their 401k over the last 30 years. What they can do in that situation where they want to make sure, just like Social Security, everyone loves Social Security, and they don't really look at Social Security as that's the biggest annuity in the world, right? That's guaranteed income for the rest of your life based on what you've paid into it. Well, to supplement that, if you lack income, there's things called income annuities. And basically what that is that is putting your money into an account, getting promised a lifetime income stream that you cannot outlive. But in the scenario where you get hit by a bus, whatever money is in there, that gets passed on to your beneficiaries. So they kind of fixed that problem where people thought they lost all control over their assets, right? So that's one.
And what is somebody, if they're getting, old school annuity that you just mentioned where, hey, you take that bet, you lost the bet, if you gave 500,000, the number you mentioned, you might not get it back. What are people trading in for the opportunity to be able to keep their money? Like, is there a little bit less of a return? Are there certain fees, or how do the insurance companies and such account for that difference that seems to be more friendly to the retiree?
Right. So what happens with these accounts is they do have a rider fees associated with that whenever you decide you want that income stream, but you also get growth on that money. So in our first scenario, you put $500,000 in, that money was the insurance carriers. Now, if you put that same money into these newly designed annuities, you can actually get growth on it. So there's going to be growth based on, the carriers looking at different indexes, but the money that you put in can grow in value. So oftentimes, not always, it'll outpace whatever fee that you're paying. That account can grow, and you could take money out. So that money is not locked in. It will affect what your income stream is going to be once you decide to turn that on, but you do have access to that money. So essentially, you're no longer handcuffed to the fact that you made a decision that's final. You open up this income annuity, it can grow in value, and then if you decide to turn on that income stream, then you can start getting it out, and you can stop the income stream as well. So there's a lot more flexibility within that, and people will use these actually to solve other problems like long-term care, right? Because if you need long-term care, you can actually get increased payouts as long as there's money in your account. So there's a lot of other ways that these can solve problems that people don't have solutions to, because long-term care is a tough one that people don't pay attention to. And oftentimes we're able to utilize an income annuity for that. So that's kind of one piece of the puzzle, Doug. Yeah. And like I said, when you look at these annuities, they're always trying to solve a problem, right? So the people that have income needs, they'll get an income annuity. But for a lot of my clients, they don't have an income need. They may have enough in their retirement accounts where they can just withdraw money to supplement their Social Security. What they want is they want safe growth, right? So for them, they want some market-like growth. They're okay with maybe not getting as much growth as they would have just being invested in the market, because they don't want to lose any of their money. They want to insulate some of their money from the downside risk. So in those situations, again, remember, we use annuities in our kind of protected bucket of money where it can't lose any of its value to market risk. And so for people that are looking for growth, but they don't necessarily want their entire net worth tied into the market with that downside risk and volatility, they'll take a portion of their money and put it in a growth annuity. And so that's a little different from what we talked about with income, because with growth annuities, you really have an opportunity to increase the value and grow on a year-by-year basis based on performance in the market, because you get to participate in the market, but there's some caps to it. There's some caps on how much you can grow, but the trade-off for that is you actually cannot lose any of your value in most of the annuities that our clients are in.
So we've heard of income annuities and growth annuities. Now, when I've had different annuities briefly explained to me, I've heard of fixed and variable and index. Do those, and I may be speaking way out of turn here, so I'm definitely not going to try to explain them. Do those fall within different types of income and growth annuities, or are those separate from those kind? What are fixed and variable and the index ones, real quick?
So a variable annuity, we don't deal with those because I don't think it solves the problem that our clients are looking for. Because a variable annuity essentially is putting money into a vehicle, into an annuity that is actually tied to the market.
I see.
And so it can go up and down. And there's also heavy fees embedded in them. So we try to steer clear of variable annuities. Those could work well for people during their accumulation phase, but with our clients that are in retirement, generally speaking, we don't believe those are a good fit for our clients. And then fixed annuities, those are essentially, they operate similarly to CDs. I mean, you can get some type of fixed rate, which right now we have some of our clients in allocations for because of how interest rates look right now. But as we kind of talked about before we started recording, we know that the Fed is looking to reduce some of the interest rates. And so that's going to affect the returns you get on those fixed annuities. So those are good right now, but I kind of see them falling off in the future.
Yeah, well, that's great. And we go to you, not for guarantees or anything, but certainly for sage advice for stuff that you've noticed over the years there, Jimmy. And before we sign off, do you have an example of someone at all offhand? I'm throwing you a curveball here, but an example of someone who came in with this idea of what they wanted to do, and then you presented one of your annuity strategies to them, and they were really thankful that you turned them onto that course.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we have people coming in from our seminars all the time. And we really, I would say a recent example is a lady came in and really kind of wanting to come in talking about taxes, which we've talked about in previous podcasts, taxes is a hot topic for a lot of these individuals. But as I started looking at their situation, what I really identified was a lady was 65, ready to retire, but had very little as far as Social Security income, but was able to diligently save. I think she had about $1 million in a tax deferred account. And so what we're looking at is, okay, she needs about $5,000 to live comfortably. She's getting about $2,000 from Social Security. We could draw down from her investment accounts to get that additional $3,000 a month. But then what we're doing is we're relying on market performance to make sure that she's able to draw that down on a continuous basis. And the other thing is, she's 65, but she's a very healthy 65. I mean, she has longevity in her family history. She'll probably make it to 100. So we're trying to rely on the market to generate at least $3,000 a month over the next 35 years. And it's just hard to predict what you're going to be able to achieve over that time. And that became a concern as we started talking. And she actually chose the route of going into an income annuity because we were able to take a portion, not all of her net worth, but a portion of it, and actually put it in that income annuity that when she turns it on, she's planning on turning on in about a year, it's going to generate that additional $3,000 a month that she needs. So that, along with her Social Security, meets her income needs. So she can spend money without worrying about, taking a vacation, knowing that it's almost like an automatic paycheck that's coming in. And she was really, really thankful because she has that portion that's going in for income, and she still has a remaining balance that she can use for growth and for other investments that she wants to do.
Everybody has their own route, all right, a special plan. And guess what? They're going to find the right path with Jimmy Lin, or they're going to try to find the right path with Jimmy Lin, financial advisor at Right Path to Retirement. So go and get your free consultation there, complimentary consultation, rightpathtoretirement.com. And there's seminars, live events that you can engage with as well. And if you've heard something you liked here, maybe your parents are asking you about annuities, but they haven't gone to an advisor, hey, share this podcast with them, Right Path to Retirement, and Apple and Spotify, and located in the greater Las Vegas area there. I know, Jimmy, you and your team would love to sit down with folks and get them started on that path.
Yeah, we're excited to help the Las Vegas community. But yeah, we definitely invite everyone to visit our websites, or they can call us directly, 702-805-7000, reach out to us, and we could just sit down and have an initial consultation. Very non-threatening, no obligation. It's just an opportunity for us to kind of understand your issues and see if we can give you some advice.
definitely would love Jimmy and his team to be able to do that for you. RightPathToRetirement.com, and that number one more time, 702-805-7000. 702-805-7000, RightPathToRetirement.com. Jimmy, thanks for spending the time today, sir. And everybody, thank you so much for listening to the Right Path to Retirement podcast.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Right Path Wealth Management. Right Path Wealth Management is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Right Path Wealth Management are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Right Path Wealth Management is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained by sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Right Path Wealth Management.